So in yesterday's class, we discussed about the 2D and 3D transforms, where we can move an element in 3 dimensions or 2 dimensions. We can increase or decrease the size, the shape, in again 2D and 3D. We can basically rotate an element in all the directions. And finally, we can stretch a particular element in X or Y direction, because in Z direction, you will not be able to pinpoint like how exactly the stretching is happening. Okay, so up until now we have discussed that. Today we are going to look into another way of animating an element, and that is called as CSS transitions. Let's say I have this CSS file, right, and when I run it, I have this HTML running, right? Let's say, can you please go on mute? Okay. Let's say that when I'm hovering over this guy, this is happening, this is doing a 2D transform and basically rotating that element in 90 degrees. So let's say transform. Okay, this is the style. I got this rotation going on here, so I'll just comment that out. Let's say when I hover over this guy, right, I want to hide that, right? Let's say I take out all this style. When you're hovering over that guy, its opacity goes to 0, and when I refresh and I go this, its opacity goes to 0 when I hover over that guy, right? Now, up until now, the transforms specifically target, moving, scaling, resizing, or rotating. But how about if I want to animate or transition this opacity, meaning I want to this abruptly, its opacity is abruptly closing off. I want to basically have an ease in style, like basically animate this opacity so that it nicely fades out. Right now it's suddenly phasing out. I want to fade it out in such a way that it looks nice. So my idea is when I hover over it, it takes like 1 second to hover, so to make it opacity 0, and then again it takes 1 second to bring it back. Right now it's boom, 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 boom. I'm not liking it. I want to animate this particular piece. So when we were using transitions or transforms, sorry, when we were using the 2D and 3D transforms, we were stuck with only translate, scale, rotate, and you cannot basically animate the opacity here. So to get that opacity working, we have something called as transitions. With 2D and 3D transforms, we can only move, rotate, scale, and stretch the element. But if we want to animate certain style properties like width, height, opacity, or even anything, margin, border, etc. We use CSS transitions. Okay, CSS transitions. Again, we follow the same web engine syntax. So it will be minus WebKit minus transition. This is for Chrome and uh, Safari, all the WebKit browsers. Okay. The next one is Mozi, MOR, Opera, and then this fallback. So next will be Mozilla. The next one will be Opera. The last one is Microsoft, and then finally we got the fallback of transition like this. This is the syntax. Now we put this, okay, CSS transition. We add these styles to the main element style uh, style body, you can say. Meaning I have here the main heading, which is position absolute, top this and left this. Then the hover state changes the opacity. So this is the main style body. Here we will be putting the styles, not on the hover state. We will put the style in the main WebKit. Okay. We will put the style in the main style body, not in the hover state. We add these styles to the main element, or let's say elements style body, not in the state. Okay. Now I need to mention opacity as 1 here, because the transitions will not understand the opacity unless and until the same style exists here. Meaning, let's say I already have this top 50% and left 25%. On hover, I can change only the top or animate only the top, because that style exists in the main body. So our opacity to work, I need to say opacity as 1. Opacity ranges from 0 to 1, guys. Okay, 0 means no opacity, zero point 0.5 means it's like transparent, half transparent, and 1 means completely visible element. So this guy clearly says that opacity needs to be at 1 when you initialize the element, and when you hover over it, it changes to 0. And then in the transition, I will say do only the opacity. Okay, transition only the opacity. Okay, but we need to also mention the time. What is the time that you want this to animate? And I want it to happen for 1 second. 1s, 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 1s. So the syntax is style property, that is the first style. Okay, that is the first argument here. You need to say style property first, and then the timing. That is the syntax. Okay. Okay. First is the style property, space, next is the timing in seconds or milliseconds. Timing, let me write this. Timing is in seconds, denoted by S, or in milliseconds, which is like this. Okay, so when I say like this and save my file, now if I go back and when I hover over this guy does a nice animation. It takes 1 second for it to do the opacity 0, and then when I hover over it, it comes back within 1 second. So far I have not used or touched the JavaScript. It's purely CSS and I can perform the animation. Right? Now there are several types of animations. Okay, one is linear, next is ease, and finally there is Bezier curve. I This is more of into math. Linear means it's completely straightforward. Okay, let me show you linear graph, and then ease graph, and then finally Bezier graph. Cubic Bezier. Yeah, not Bezier. Cubic Bezier. Okay, and then this is the ease, and then this is finally linear. As you can see, linear is straight line. No matter what values you take of x and y, right, it is in the straight line. Similarly, in this style, when I'm hovering over it, it is linear style, meaning when I'm hovering over it, the opacity changes from 0 to 1 in a straight graphical manner. Whereas when you say ease in, ease out, there is a delay. Like from here till here, there is a delay. Paint. Let me quickly draw a graph for you guys. And then I got this guy. So this is x-axis and y-axis, right? Okay. Now how the ease curve says is like this. Okay. This is how the ease graph is. What does ease graph means? From here till here, okay, your animation starts from here, okay, from here till here there is a delay in the sense the style stays there, and then suddenly this guy jumps from this uh, to this value. So from this, let's say this value is some 3 for example, and this is 0, and this is, let's say it's the maximum value here is 5. Let's assume for a second. So what's happening is from 0 to 3 it is slowly it will slowly animate, and then from 3 to 5 it will suddenly animate, like it will jump it. So there is going to be that there is going to be that smooth animation where from 0 to 3 it is slowly doing it, and then suddenly it takes the speed and then it reaches there, right? That is your easing function. And easing works both ways, where you have like ease in, ease out both. When you have ease in, ease out, the ease in, ease out basically looks like this. Something like more of a like this. Okay, what does this mean is from 0 till 3, okay, from 0 till 3 it was animating slowly, and then from 3 to let me take out this 3. Let me say this is somewhere 1, this is somewhere 4, and this is somewhere 5, right? So from 0 to 1 it was animating slowly, but from 1 to 4 it jumped the animation very fast, and then between 4 and 5 it again animated slowly. So there is going to be that easing and ease out animation going on. So let me say this: ease in, ease out animation example, right? Yeah, this is C. See how this animation works. The first one is simply the ease in, and the next one is the ease out. Ease out is the opposite way. The style is fast, but when it comes to end, it slows down. It's the other way around. So the ease out is something like this. Okay, ease out will be look something like this, meaning from here till here it will animate very fast, but from here till here the animation is going to slow down, and that's exactly what's happening for the blue color. Look at the blue color. Uh, no, I'm sorry, it's the pink color. My bad. It's the pink color which is doing like this, and then the blue color is doing the both, ease in and ease out. It is starting slowly and then it is ending slowly. So that is the easing out style. I don't know if you guys can see this style here. Okay, so that is our ease in and ease out functions. Next is the cubic Bezier. Cubic Bezier gives us the flexibility to change the graph, to change the animation like this. If I do like this, what will happen is from here till here the animation will jump very fast, and then from here to here it will go in the reverse direction. It will go in the reverse direction, and then from here to here it will jump very fast. See the pink one, then it went there very fast, then it will go back and then it will jump again. It will jump, then it will go back a little, and then it will jump back fast. So with this cubic Bezier we can let our animation go as whatever we want. We can change any animation like this. So if I go like this, it will smooth in like this, right? If I keep on stretching the value like this and immediately like this, what will happen is it will jump, go back, it will go, come back, and then come back like this, right? That's how the graph works. It will go back and then it will come back. So we need to be very careful when we are dealing with Bezier curves, right? Where is my where is my okay, see the values again ranges from 0 to 1. Okay, the first two coordinates in Bezier curve let me say like this. This is a straight line animation, no easing. Okay, next is the, and by the way, the syntax for this going to be, syntax is simply linear. Okay, you don't need to mention any coordinates. Okay, next, this allows us to uh, perform a slow start or slow end. Okay, and we have three options here, actually four options here. Okay, one is ease, next one is ease in, next one is ease out, and the next one is ease in out. Okay, I don't know if it is in out or in and out, but we'll find out here. Timing functions. Oh, it's a dash actually. Okay, so it's actually ease in, ease out, and then finally ease in and out. These are the mainly used. Okay, these are the mainly used animation styles. The next one, and the syntax is like this. You simply mention like this and then it will take it. The next one is the cubic Bezier. This, how should I say it? This gives us the flexibility of defining our own graphical animation graph. This has two uh, points within which we define our animation style. Okay, syntax is, you use the word cubic Bezier. Okay, and then you say, no, actually there is no colon, cubic Bezier, and then you will use the x coordinate of the first point. This is the first point, guys, here on the left side where you are dealing with this pink, right? This pink is the first coordinate, the first point, and then you will use the y coordinate, comma y coordinate, comma x coordinate of the second, and then y coordinate. Next is the y coordinate of the first element, then the x coordinate of the second point, and the y coordinate of the second point. Okay, using CSS, simply using CSS, you may not be able to get the coordinate values. Okay, simply using CSS you cannot coordinate the values. Okay, and then the, by the way, the star point here is coordinate values range from 0 to 1. Okay, you cannot say 10 or 20 like that. You simply say from 0 to 1. If you go beyond that, you will get this message. See, this curve contains a value out of range, which is this guy, 1.18. You cannot have that. You need to have only from 0 to 1. Okay, so simply using the what do you call CSS, you cannot come up with this number like 0.08, 0.7, 0.85, 0.6. You cannot, you know. So you need to basically go to some websites like this or calculate on your own to come up with this Bezier number. So this is the linear, which is straight line. Ease in is like slow start. Ease out is slow end. Ease in, ease out is slow start and slow end. Okay, and it's going to be something like this. The animation that I'm doing is going to be something like this. Right? Okay. So let me say I'll copy this guy. Okay, I'll copy this number. This is what the style I like. I'll go back to my here, and then after 1 second I will put my type, and that is cubic Bezier. Within brackets I'll paste this number. Save it. And now if I refresh, it is not working because did I misspell it? Cubic. Yeah, I misspelled it. It is BE, not BA. My bad. It's BE, Bezier, not BA. So copy, paste, paste, paste. Save it. And then when I do this, go back, refresh. I don't know if you can make out. Let me change it to 4 seconds. But it is doing the cubic Bezier type of style. Or else, you know what, let me make it extreme. Okay, let me copy this guy. This looks this animation will let you know like if it is working. So 1 second, and then change these coordinates. I'll do Control F, Control R, paste it and replace all. That is faster. Now if you go back, refresh, right? So this is how I can animate one property in my CSS style. Any questions? अर्थమైందా कॉन्सेप्ट? समझ में आया आप लोग को क्या हो क्या रहा है? जब हमने 2D ट्रांसफॉर्म्स और 3D ट्रांसफॉर्म्स यूज किया था तब हम सिर्फ मूव, रोटेट या स्केल ही कर पाते थे. बट let's say मुझे let's say if I want to change the top also, okay, that when I hover over this guy, I want to change the top from 50% to 10%. And so what I'll say is I'll copy the top here. Instead of opacity, I'll say top now. I want to animate the top. And then here, instead of changing the opacity, I'll say top, change it to 10%, or better yet 20%, half of it. So if I go back and refresh, yeah, this hovering over is, the animation is not getting it, but you get it right. Yeah, so the animation is happening, the transitioning is happening. It's just that you usually don't move elements when you hover over them, because when you do it you end up in this jarring type of style, because user can keep on rotate the mouse however he likes, so you don't usually rotate, but just for the demonstration purposes I wanted to show. Okay, I can change any property, guys. I can change any properties. It's my wish, like whatever property I want to change I can do it. Hover overing is the better one, what people like, right? Adhavinda, any questions? The transitions, what how do we do the transitions, right? What are the different animation styles? Any questions, guys? Please tell me. Because you guys will be, your next assignment will deal with all of these um, heavy transitionings and heavy. Oh, I did a close it. Yeah, you guys will be doing on your next assignment with heavy transitions and transformations, whatnot. So let me know if you are able to, if you're not able to get it. Clear, guys? I can also change the padding. I can change whatever I want. Okay, I can also change display block to display inline block with an animation. I can, like for example, I can change the width from 100% and then change it to 200%. Now let's say if I want to animate both the opacity and width, then all I need to do is copy this entire thingy, put a space and then paste it, and this time use the width. I can do this, or I can simply say all. When I say all, I can transition, or you can I can animate all of the properties. I can now change the left. Since I'm not writing any style for left on the hover, that particular piece will not animate, but the opacity and everything will change, right? So if I save this, if I go back, refresh, I don't know if you noticed this, but okay, the width is suddenly changed to 200%. let me turn on the hover. This is the width, 200 pixels, and now I get a scroll bar because of that 200%, right? If I turn off the hover, I don't get that scroll bar, right? Right? Or better example would be, let's say instead of dealing with 200 for width, let me capture the form. Okay, this is the form here, right? Let me get this animation. Let me get this animation into this form. Take care of that indentation. Okay, now this guy has a background color by default. Now let me change that background color to black. Come on, copy, paste. Okay, let me change that to, let me see, you won't be able to see these letters, right? So I don't want that. I want to change it to some yellowish color, or let's say 0 to 255. Let's go back here. Let's change it to this color. But come on, run this time. Okay, and I change this to this value. So when I'm hovering over that form, the color changes. So refresh. I can animate any property, not only hover. Okay, not only hover, I can choose any style, because I can target any element right now, right? I can animate any element. Now let's say, if you don't have the hover state, right? Let's see what happens. You see there is an animation at the beginning. It is animating, and that's because we have said that form has a transition. Now any styles which is related to this form will get this transition style. So even this guy will get some style. Are there any other references? Let's see. So only 1, 2, 3. Right. So only these three will animate. Will get that transitioning element animation. So that is how I'll be basically transitioning one particular style. Clear, guys? Any questions? Please tell me if you have any questions. Clearer? Yeah, go ahead, ask me.
So, like you said, like all the forms means those who are having form name new license will get this transition property.
Yep.
Yeah. So, like if there is a sentence, if we have some text in the form, suppose, so even that small part will also get that transition property.
Yep. Because it's a child of that form, right? It will get that style. See,
Okay.
when I was dealing with this heading, when I'm hovering over this and I'm adding the styles, right?
Hmm.
If you look closely, I've added the styles to this header, main
Yeah.
heading. and the text is inside that. So this is the child of this header, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm animating this guy, even this guy will get the animation. And same
Okay.
thing is happening for the form. Form, all the elements, like in this case, I have some H4 that has some positions and everything. Then I got
Mm-hmm.
some divs which has some padding. So you are getting the same exact animation. See, those divs are now getting the padding.
Mm-hmm.
If I inspect element on those divs, refresh, you see, I don't know if you were
Yeah.
able to see, but that gets animated. So all the childs will get that animation. So we need to, of course, I mean, that's what I'm trying to get at, that when we are dealing with any sorts of animations, right,
Mm-hmm.
we need to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that we are targeting that particular element in such a way that others are not getting disturbed, like
Okay.
in this case. Because when I did for the form, the entire element, the entire child structure got that same animations going on. So that is what, uh, you know, transitioning is.
Okay.
Can you apply once for footer? I'm sorry, Somu, I did not understand your question there. Can you apply once per footer?
Uh, I just wanna check like how it looks
I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, I mean, I did not get you.
on footer like for only links or whole
Okay.
footer. Yeah,
So this on hover of this links, the background color changes to white. You mean to say that?
yeah, on that.
Okay. So let me do this. Let me take out the transitions from here. Okay. What I'll do is I'll create a class called animate transition. Let's say I'm having a name like this, class name. Here I'm saving the transitions. Okay.
Okay.
Now while I go back, go to my HTML. Let me collapse this section. This is my footer, right?
Yes.
And this guy already has a main footer as the style.
Oh,
So if I go back and if I look for main footer,
main
where
footer.
is, so I'll search for main footer, right?
Yeah.
Main footer already has a height, and then it is targeting the nav, and then finally it is, where is that, this guy, when you main footer on the hover of the li, it is changing the background color,
Yeah.
right? So all I need to do is basically add this animate transition class to the main footer. That's it. So if I say class this, what will happen is the transition will apply to the footer, and since it's applying to the footer, it should apply to all of its child.
What if we wanna apply for only one child?
You need to target that child then.
Okay.
Let's say this li, right? You need to put the class name here then.
Okay.
That's why what I did is I created a separate class,
Yeah.
right? And then you can add that class to anyone. So let me save this first. I did not think I saved the style, so let me save the style. And when I hover now, if I refresh this, I don't know, when you refresh the page, the footer is getting the styles. Can you see it? There is
Yeah.
an animation on the footer.
It's slowed down the process here.
Yeah.
Transition.
Let me change this cubic base here. I mean, I don't want to have this cubic base here. Um, Hold on. Okay, let's see. Okay, this animation looks good. Let me save it. Okay, now the footer is getting the style, right? When
Yeah.
at the footer is getting the animation now. So what if I try to take this guy out from the footer and then put it to the disclaimer?
Okay.
Now, since I have added to the li, it is adding to all the li's, and then it will animate the li's. But can you see, like only this one is animating,
Yeah.
disclaimer. But when I'm refreshing the page, all the li's are getting the style.
Why is it so happening like for whole footer?
See, when you're loading the page, right,
Yeah.
what's happening is that style is added to the li. This class is added to the li, and the browser is still initializing your. I mean, it's still rendering your page,
Where to apply?
and yeah, and then it is looking for the animation to apply. Now, if you look closely, when I'm loading the HTML on the head itself, I've loaded the styles. So by the time this li is getting rendered, I already have the style, and the style says look for animate transition. Now when it encounters this animate transition, it is applying the styles.
Yeah.
Even though it is applying styles to this li, it is, I mean, this li is hooked up to this. So let's say what happens if I take this out and put it to the last li. Okay, last li. If I
Okay.
save this, refresh, you see only the emergency is going to animate.
Yeah.
That's because the disclaimer is the first element,
Yeah. Got it.
and it is going, since there are other elements right next to it. So let's say if I change it and then put it to download form, it will animate download form. It is actually animating download form only, but since emergency is right next to it, it is also getting animated.
Yeah.
So if I save this, you see both of these will get animated. But
Yeah.
in fact, it's only animating this download form. It is not animating emergency at all. And only that particular element will get that hover style.
Yes. Got it.
So what I'm trying to get at is, from this point on, you need to target the classes. Create a separate class called animation transition, and then apply that style. And since this guy clearly says all means apply styles to everything, right? But instead of that, let's say I'm saying only the, where is that? Where is that main footer? Okay, main footer. I just want to animate this background color, right, on hover of the li. So as you said, when I'm refreshing, I don't want this animation, that moving right. I don't want that animation. I just want to do the animation on the hover, on the download.
Only when we hover.
Yeah, I just want to make that style. So what will I do is, I'll simply copy this guy, only this style, background color, and then here in transition, I will make the change to the background color only. Instead of saying all, I'll say background color. And now if I save this guy, and if I save the HTML, now what will happen is, you will not see that animation on page
Any
view.
transaction.
Yeah, but it will happen the background, right?
Yeah.
So we need to be careful when we are saying one specific style, or when we are saying all. All means it will animate everything in that element and in that document flow to the childs also.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how you do it. You basically create a separate class for animation, and then you use that class to all the animations. Clear, guys? Did you guys understand, guys? How you
Yes.
basically add the styles and everything? There is one last piece of animation left out. If you guys want to, I can cover it today, or we can do it tomorrow. You guys tell me. It will take again like 30 minutes.
Go ahead.
Okay, some people are saying let's do it tomorrow. So okay, let's capture that tomorrow. But I really hope you guys are understanding this transition, because we hardly use transforms, because transform is like old school. We used to do it in like back in 2000, right? But nowadays no one is doing that kind of animations anymore. Okay, I mean there are some websites which does this. Uh, uh, I can't remember it on top of my head, but yeah, there are some websites which does that kind of animations. But most of the time you will see transitioning of that particular style, because this gives me the power to just change the background position for this class, or change the right position of this class, right? That is more powerful compared to moving or scaling that element. So this animation is very important, guys. Okay, don't don't miss out on that. Okay, you need to get thorough with this particular type of animation. I think I just missed out one small piece in transition, is the delay. You can delay an animation by these many seconds. Like for example, let's say I change it to 5 seconds, okay? And then I'm delaying the animation by 5 seconds. So what this guy is saying is, like, when I hover over this, the width of the div will change. So when I hover over it, it will wait for 5 seconds, okay? It will not wait for 2 seconds, it will wait for 5 seconds. And then it will animate. So I hover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it should change the animation, right? It will wait for 5 seconds and then it will animate. So there is a delay function also. Let me add that. um, transition delay. We use this to wait for certain time and then apply our animation. Okay, syntax is like this. Right, and then it's basically moz, and then opera, ms, and finally just transition delay. Okay, example is like 2 seconds, like this, something like this. Okay, we will use this delay to delay our animation, and you need to write it as a separate property. Like, I'll copy this. I mean, we cannot put everything into one single line. We need to write it separately like this: 2 seconds delay for 2 seconds, please. And if I increase this animation from 1 seconds to 0.5 seconds, let's see how my animation will behave. So it will wait for 2 seconds and then it will quickly do that animation for me. See, it did that animation, and then it will wait for 2 seconds, and then it will animate, and then it will wait for 2 seconds and it will animate back. It will wait for 2 seconds and then animate, and then when I come out it will wait for 2 seconds and animate, right? So that is the delay, transitioning delays. Clear, guys, on the delay part? We sometimes we also deal with delaying because we don't want the user to get confused right there itself when he's seeing some animation. So we wait for like 2 seconds and then we ease in, because easing in is a slow animation start, right? And then we quickly end it. So that's why when the user is some visually impaired user, then he will be able to see what's animation is going on. Okay, so CSS transitions and CSS delay, git push origin master. Clear, guys? Any questions?
Shrikar, Sarika here.
Hey, tell me what's up.
Shrikar, here I'm getting bit confusion. For cubic, you mention x coordinate, y coordinate, and x and y, right?
Yeah.
56, 72, 77. So every time, like when we write code, it will depends upon our flexibility, right? To select the coordinates.
It is totally up to you. But if your designing team are clearly giving you the coordinate values, then you need to use those. But if they're not, then you're totally up. It's up to you. You can visit this cubicbezier.com website, and then you play around with this, and then this is how your animation will look like, right? And you apply that. And let's say your team did not like it, and they say like, I need more of a easing type of animation. Then you need to basically make changes to your easing function like this. So it will slow easily start, right, like this, and then it will slow easily end it like this. So I mean, I don't know, it will be purely based upon your judgment, but yeah, you can totally do whatever you want to do.
Thank you.
Right? So cubic Bezier is the only one which takes x coordinate, y coordinate of the first point, which is pink here, and then x coordinate and y coordinate of the second point, which is blue here. And then this is what my animation looks like, easing in and easing out. If I don't want easing out, I'll simply reduce this guy like this. Now what will happen is it will purely ease in. So if I save it, it will slowly start the animation, then it will jump, right? If I don't want that, I want to end fast, then I'll simply do this guy. This guy will end the animation slowly, right? If I reduce this guy more, or even if I go more and this guy to even further like this, it will jump from there to there, and then it will slow down the animation, right? So this is how you basically do it. Clear? If your value goes like this, then it will jump back a little and then it will go back, because here at this point it is coming back. So that's why your blue should be always on the top and then red should be always at the bottom. So this is nice little ease in and ease out, right? And if I change the duration to 2 seconds, maybe my animation will look more nicer. If I increase it more, it might look something like this. So it's totally up to you. Okay, Sarika, it's totally up to you. How do you basically deal with your animations?
Okay,
It's
got
your
it.
judgment call basically, and if your team does not like it, then just trial and error, keep on changing. They will say you like, I'm not liking this animation, do this, make it as an easing function, I want to end it nicely. If they say like that, then you will deal with easing out type of styles. You don't need to necessarily depend on cubic base here. You already have this easing, ease out, and both ease in, ease out functions. And basically what you will say is, instead of saying like this, let me copy it, comment it out, right? Instead of saying cubic base here, you will simply say ease in, out. That's it. Copy. Let me do this. Control F, refresh, paste, replace, 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 and replace. Save it. This will perform that uh, ease in and ease out animation. There is going to be a gradual ease in and ease out styles. You may not be able to look at this, I mean make out from this, but basically this is similar to this curve, which is similar to this curve. Straight line like this, and it's a straight line like this. This is the ease in and ease out style. Okay, right? If you don't want to use the cubic base here, you can simply say ease in and ease out, and it will work. Or better yet, if you simply say ease, simply using ease will, put it like this. Look at the blue color. That is how the style will going to be. Okay, clear guys? So that's how you do it. Okay, if you don't have any more questions, then we will continue tomorrow with final piece of animation, and that will wrap up this animation course, animation sessions, and then we will look into responsive web designing. So today is Thursday. Tomorrow is going to be the Friday, I guess. So over the weekend, since we don't have classes on Saturday, I'll try my best to wrap up everything on Sunday. Chances are that Sunday's class will be a bigger one because I want to complete the responsive web design concept, so that from Monday we will look into Bootstrap and a new CSS concept called Sass. CSS with superpowers, or whatever these guys are calling it. Okay, I want to get into this starting Monday. Okay, they have this entire documentation, what to do and what not to do, and why, what is Sass and why do we need it. And we'll basically, do side by side. Either we'll do this or we will pick this. Okay, any one of those. I will go with this less because less is kind of getting popular and popular compared to Sass. But you should be getting an idea what exactly we are trying to do in these, and what the heck is less, what the heck is Sass, why do we need it, and all that. Okay, clear guys? Let me just say one thing though, that even I'm not that good with less and Sass, but I will be learning with you when we are looking at this documentation. Okay, there is this language features, right? They have all these features here. So we will go through this and we will basically write our own style structure on this. Okay. In tomorrow's class, I'll be wrapping up the animation. There will be an assignment tomorrow. Since we don't have class on Saturday, I expect you to submit your assignments by Sunday and we'll do a demo on what you guys have done. It's going to be a quick session of show and tell. Okay? Here guys? Okay then, that wraps up this class. See you tomorrow guys. Bye.